How you doing? So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to recreate a shallow depth of field using Adobe Photoshop. So as you can see on this image, we've got a really lovely shallow depth of field. So this is the after, this is the before image. I'm going to walk you through the process, but the whole point of doing this was that sometimes when you're shooting you can't, for whatever reason, shoot with a wide aperture. So this option gives you the flexibility to be able to do it in post-production, and the whole purpose of this really is just to create a better, more pleasing portrait. But also with this particular shot, it means that we can draw our attention to the necklace there. So I'm going to walk you through the process and show you what I've done. I've added a couple of little other adjustments in there as well, which I'll walk you through. So the first thing we want to do then is duplicate the background. So press Control or Command J, and then we want to right click on the side of the new layer there and convert to Smart Object. What that does is enables you to go back later. If you make a mistake, you can go back and make an adjustment again. So then what we want to do is convert to Filter, and then go to Blur Gallery, and then go to Iris Blur. Now what you'll have here is a circle, and you'll have points on the outside and then points on the inside. So you can move the edge, and you can also go in as well. So you can make it bigger and smaller, and you can rotate it. What you can also do is increase the blur. So if you come to the middle, you can click on the point here and increase the blur, and it will, the blur number will come up. You can also do it on the top right hand corner here. You can increase the blur that way. The other thing you can do is click on one of these 4 points that's in the middle, and you can drag that in, and what that does is that increases the blur again. So how this works is the middle point will always be, there'll be zero blur added to that, and as it falls off into these points here, these are showing you where the blur is going to start. So from this point outwards, that is going to be 79 pixels worth of blur. Okay, so by decreasing these, by pulling these in, you can see we're shortening that depth of field there. So we can click in the middle, and we can move this up as well. So what's really nice about this is that you can really take full control. So we can bring this into the face so it's nice and narrow. But also what we might want to do is actually increase this so that the mouth is sharp as well. So to do that, you hold the Alt or Option key down, and that enables you to then move these points individually. So you can see there that now we can drag this down and include the mouth. So this really does give you a lot more control. So we can pull these out a little bit and kind of really mimic what a shallow depth of field would look like. So we need to remember that when we're mimicking a shallow depth of field, we need to think about lots of things and how it actually works. And there will be one focal plane. So that one focal plane will be at the areas of where the eyes are. So anything in that line is going to be sharp. So we need to remember that to try and mimic this shallow depth of field the best way possible. So this here is looking a little bit false now. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to pull the top down a little bit. And also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the blur so it's not as powerful. Go up a little bit, and again holding the Alt or Option key, we can move these points out, just increase that area. And then what we can do is then just increase that blur. Again, we can do it up here or here, wherever you want. And there we go. So if we want to add another point, we can. So we can add multiple points. It doesn't have to be one. So let's come down to here and click, and you'll see that automatically the necklace becomes sharp. And that's because, like I said at the beginning, whenever you create a point, that point is going to be zero sharpness. Everything else around it will be softer. So again, pulling these points in, that means that we are blurring the outside areas there. So I want to bring this down below her chin and just really concentrate on that necklace. So there we go. So that looks good. So let's come back up to this point here. What I might do is just bring this down a little bit so it's not as aggressive. So about there. So it's really a case of just taking your time and trying to get this as natural looking as possible. So let's say okay to that. So we can see the before and after from that, and it's quite dramatic, isn't it? So it's given us what I wanted. So I wanted to bring attention to the face and to the necklace. So what I'm also going to do is just make a couple of adjustments just to help this along. So I'm going to come down to the bottom here, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to add a photo filter. So I'm just going to add the warming filter there, so that's fine. That's quite nice. I'm also going to add a curves adjustment, and I'm just going to increase that. And once I've done that, I'm going to press Control Command I to invert that. Select the brush tool, make sure we're on white, and then I'm just going to paint around the eyes. And what that's going to do is just brighten up the eyes. So we've inverted the effect, which means that we can then just select the areas that we want to pop. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the lips, and I'm going to do the necklace there. Okay, so let's add one more adjustment. Let's come down to the bottom and come to hue and saturation, and let's just increase that saturation a little bit just to bring out them colors. And there we have it. So that is how you do it. So if we look at all of these here, we can group these together if we want to. So we can hold the shift key down and just press Control Command G, and that will group everything together, and then we can look at the before and the after. So you can see it's quite a quick process, but it's very, very powerful and can be really, really interesting and change your images a lot. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing your images. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.